UE5 BP Guru on the members series for Pokemon multiplayer. Today we're going to be looking at setting up some functionality on our actual battle widget. So in the last episode we set up all of these lovely bits of information apart from the status, and we're now going to start selecting some of these buttons and getting them working in game. And the first thing we want to do is click on all of these buttons and set the visibility to hidden. I think we do need to do the same thing with the text, so we'll click on those as well and set those to hidden also. On the right hand side of the details panel under behavior, if anyone's wondering where that is. So what will happen now is when we start the battle, those buttons will be missing, and there's a reason for that. Is because we want them to update depending on what we're clicking on. So the first thing we need to do is come to the graph, and we're going to be trying to set up two things today. Depends on the time it takes us to do that. The first thing we're going to want to set up is the button press for the attack. I can't see this very well because my microphone is covering it, so I do apologize. We're going to do on clicked of the attack button. So the attack button's not actually going to do any attacking. It's just going to bring up those move slots and set them to what we want them to be. So we're going to need a couple of branches here, like so. And on the false of this one, we're going to go into this branch here. And what we're checking for, we need to create some booleans. I'm going to try and move my screen so I can actually see what I'm doing. Click a new variable. We're going to need a few boolean checks. So the first one we want is move active, ? And we'll drag that out, do a get. We also want to do one more called move weight. And then we're going to check if we need one more. And this is going to be is attack active. That's reference to the actual button itself. So grab those, and we'll say or. Do an or boolean, and we want these both to return false if we want to use it. Oh gosh, remove that pin. Why is it not moving? There we go. So do that, and then this one goes into here. So at this point that will come back false. We will deal with if it is active in a moment. Now I will create a boolean activator here at some point. If it's not active, what we're going to do is we're going to set this to true. But this will be a whole new function which we'll set up later on down the line. What we then need to do is we need to get the reference to all of those buttons and texts, and oh gosh, I didn't even get that one. All the buttons first, because it's easier if we do them in order. Button 3 and button 4. Then we also need the text as well. I will do it down here just so we can see what's what. Oh Jesus, what am I doing? 3, and we want text 4, and we're going to set the visibility of those to visible so that we can see what's going on. Okay, and then that into there, that into there, that into there, and that into there. If we're going off of the false, we might as well start doing this now. We're going to set our, for now, we'll set our attack active to false and plug that in there. And that will set that back to hidden. So if this attack, if the attack's open and we click attack again, it'll just close it and you won't be able to see it. Obviously, if anything else is open, we'll need to close it here. But for now, we don't have anything else, so we don't need to worry about that at the moment. Just tuck this in a bit, just so it stays a bit neater. Like so. There we go. That looks a bit better. And then we just need to do a check. Is this the host? Which we get from wherever it is. Let's just grab our third-person character reference. So where is it? Oh gosh, there it is. Okay. The reason we don't do a check to like a cast like we did in the bindings is because throughout the battle this won't ever change. So it won't need to be updated via a reference check like a cast to the third-person character. Will always be the host throughout the entirety of the battle, which we set here anyway. We do this check here anyway. So by setting this here on the events constructed, we don't need to recast to the player or anything like that. Okay, bring this down a little bit. Now we need to set up a new enumeration, which we can do. Does it make sense to do that in the battle proxy? I guess it does. Right. We'll do a new enumeration. And we'll call this battle choice. Oh. Hold on a minute. We already have it. What am I doing? We've set that up. I'm not on the ball today, clearly. Delete that one. We don't need it. We'll do it in here instead, I guess. So variable. We need to do player choice, which will be that battle. Oh, battle choice, and we'll create another one for our enemy choice. And basically, what we need to do now is work out what the player is doing. So if we're attacking, if we're the host, sorry, we're going to be attacking for the host. If we are the joiner in this scenario, we will also be attacking, but we need to set them up as the enemy. So if we're not the host, we're the enemy, we're the joiner. So we set that as the enemy choice. And then we need to create a new function called set move slot. And this has two inputs coming into it. It's going to be our enemy team. There's my input. So player Pokemon party info. That will also be an array. So incoming team is probably the best name to give that. And we also would like to know the creature index or Pokemon index, whichever one you want to call it. And we'll set that to the integer. And we'll set that to a single. Let's go back into the graph for now. And we're just going to get these two dragged out. Plug that in there. Plug that in there. Like so. We can keep them straight. It doesn't really matter too much. Right, give them a little bit of breathing room. And then we want to get our battle proxy reference. And we're going to get the player team. And we also want to get current player index. And plug those into the top one because that means you're the host. Like so. To save us having loads of spaghetti code, we'll get a second reference to that battle proxy, and we want to get current enemy index, and we'll plug those in like so, just like that. Okay, that's that setup for now. We'll cover the set movement slot shortly. Because we're attacking, we need to know basically what the enemy's attacks are. We can comment this off now as attacking active. So that'll set that up for us as well. That's all we need to do in there for now. The other thing I want to do before we actually go into that set movement is actually set up the buttons for the move slot. This will only have to be done once, and you won't need to do it for you won't have to do it again, basically. So we just need to find our move buttons. I'm going to get on-clicked for every one of our move slot buttons. And the fourth one is there. Okay, we obviously need to do another check to see if we are the host. So we can grab this here. Again, because we'll always be the host, we don't need to cast or do anything like that to find out whether we still are the host, because we always will be. This is already going to be predetermined before the battle begins. So we don't need to worry about that. Plug all of that in there. That should be good. The next thing we need to do is we need to create a few more variables. So I will tidy this all up. These variables, they're very messy. But what we need is player chosen move index. It's very lengthy, so actually if we just put P and E, we'll know what those mean. P move chosen move index, and oh gosh, I'm all over the place today. E chosen move index. We will also need a variable check, a Boolean check, just even Boolean check. We'll need two of these, and the first one is going to be P player has chosen, and we also need one that says enemy has chosen. Okay, and most of this will be I've just realized these need to be set up. Actually, sorry, I am all over the place today. Delete those out, because those actually need to be set up in our battle proxy. The reason for that is because we want this to the battle proxy to determine all of that, basically. So let's create those variables in here instead. So player has chosen, enemy has chosen. We also need to do our integers, and this one will be P chosen move index E chosen move index, and we also need to give them their own E battle choice, which this one will be P move type, and then E move type. Okay, that's better. That's better setup, right? Okay, we keep the player choice and enemy choice here, by the way. Okay, so when we click on this move, we are obviously determining whether we're the host or not. If we are the host, let's get our battle proxy reference. And we want to get set P chosen move index. This will look messy. It will. There's no getting around this one, sadly. So just go with it. Player has chosen. And we also want the P move type. Set the P move type. Okay, that's for the player. We then need to set E chosen move index, like so. Set enemy has chosen, and the last one is set E move type, like so. Obviously, make it look nice and neat, however you want to have yours laid out, but that should be okay. And then what we can do is we can actually just copy and paste this down to here. Oh, bring all this up a little bit. There we go. We might need a little bit extra room, so just bear that in mind. Do that there, that one there is fine, and then this one here. Align up your buttons just to keep it as neat as possible, because this is probably the worst thing to try and keep neat because it's just so messy. But there's not really much you can do around it. So now that you have that set up like that, if you've made yours neat, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's not going to matter too much because you're not going to touch it again afterwards. What you need to do now is set the first one to 0, the next one to 1, the next one to 2, and the next one to 3, because that's your 1 to 3 choices. Also, I've just realized I've set up this incredibly messily. This one needs to come up to about here. That's fine, that's fine. Okay, great. And once you've got something that looks like this, what we need to do is set all of those Boolean checks to true. So like that. Okay. And then that will determine that the player has chosen. This will make sense when we start doing our battle proxy code. The next thing we need to do is take our player choice and plug that into all of the player move types, because this is what they've chosen to do, whether that's healing, like with an item, or whether it's using an attack move, or whether it's changing a Pokemon's like that's in battle, for example, or if they're going to choose to run. All of these things will be determined via this enemy or player choice, depending on who's picking what. So that sorts that out. I might move this into the middle somewhere. No, I'll leave it up here. It's very messy. I know it is. It's not the cleanest of codes, to be honest. There's a lot going on here. To be perfectly honest, there is probably an opportunity here to tidy this up so that it's only going through one. But either way, it works. So it's fine. And then once we've made our choice, we set our move active to true. And we can plug this into near enough. Well, we can plug it all into one. It should be fine. Plug it all into one, like so. There's 2 more down here. So all we're doing is we're setting there is move active to true. And if the move is active, you probably remember up here, we can't use a move. So we can't keep clicking buttons, basically. That sort of almost eliminates that. Okay. The next thing we will be checking eventually is this multiplayer, but we haven't set that up yet. So let's quickly create that now. Is multiplayer question mark? That's just a bog standard Boolean check. Is multiplayer. Now, if it is, we need to pass the choice through to the other player. Now, for now, it will never be multiplayer because we're just kind of focusing on getting the code together. So we're going to stay mainly into single player, but eventually it will be if it is multiplayer, it will pass that choice through to the other one. So for now, I'm just going to create a custom event and call this pass choice. And we'll call that, and we'll pass that choice through to the other player that we're battling. So we'll just do this, pass choice, and we'll cover that code down the line. Then what we're doing is we're going to set the visibility of our code, our buttons. And we can literally just take these and just plug them in down here. Like so. Plug all of those into that. And that is our move choice complete. So no matter what we pick now, so just to give you kind of an overall kind of idea of what this is doing, move select. There we go. So to give you an idea of what's happening is, so the battle will start. We are going to click on to attack. This will set that the move slots visible. It's going to check who's clicking on that attack, whether it's the player or the enemy. It's going to set our move type to attacking, which is obviously going to be plugged into here. And then this function here will set the moves up to show what moves we are going to be using. Oh, and then in here we'll have our move buttons, and then depending on what we select, it will give it a move index number. Tell the battle system that we've chosen, and click a move type. Set the move type that we selected up here to the one in the battle proxy. This is all passed through to the battle proxy, and then we say, okay, we've got an active move. It checks to see if it's multiplayer. If it is multiplayer, eventually it will pass that through to the joiner, or if you're the joiner, it will pass it to the host, and then it removes that variable. In our battle code, what that's going to be doing is it's going to be constantly checking to see when we've made our choices. Once we've made our choices, it will then move forward with the code. So this will all make sense in the end, I'm sure. But that's what we're doing with that. And the last thing we need to do now is set up that move. So to finish up, all we need to do now is just set this move slot. The first thing we're going to do is do a for each loop for this here. And then we're going to do a check to see if it is equal to the creature index we've got coming in. One of them should be. And if we branch off here, plug that in there. And then we want to break this. And all we need from this is our move slots. So we can clear off everything else that isn't needed. Just like so. And then we want to run that through a for each loop. Oh, gosh. And we're going to do a sequence. And we need 4 on that sequence. We need to check if it's equal to each of our move slots. So 0, 1. We'll do this 4 times. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. And what we're looking for is basically every time it runs, we want it to set it to the information that we have. So this won't run unless it's 0. This one, it's going to run it through each of these sequences 4 times until it sets the correct information for all of them. Then we need to get our text for each of these. Text 1, text 2, text 3, and text 4. And then we need to set the text of each of these to be that of this name here. So I'm trying to make this as little messy as possible. It's very difficult when you're doing things like this. We're going to do this another 3 times. If it's true, we'll do that. If it's true, we'll do that one. And if it's true, we'll do that one. And then we can plug this into all 4 of these, because it's only going to set that move that is equal to this integer. After that's done, all we need to do now is set the visibility of these buttons to be visible if it exists. Obviously, if it doesn't exist, it's not going to set the visibility to true. So set visibility. Do that again 4 times. Like that. Like that. And that one. You also need to add the text into this as well. So don't forget to add the text in too. I've given up trying to make sure this is tidy. It's never going to be tidy. And that's all we need to do for that as well. So we can test this for sure by going. I just want to make sure I've actually set up the moves, or at least some moves for these creatures. Otherwise, we're going to have no way of testing it. So if we go to our base information of Bulbasaur, have I got 3 moves here? I do. Growl, Tackle. Okay, that's great. And I just need to make sure that those are set up on our actual move data table. Got Tackle and Growl. That's good enough. So if we press play, I will have to set some other moves up for other Pokemon at some point. But for now, just to test, we'll see if Dave comes through with Growl and Tackle. So if we go in here, run around. There's Charmander. He won't have any moves yet, but that's fine. We'll click on attack, and you'll see that it didn't set these to false. Interesting. But we have got Tackle and Growl. So what did I not do? I think what I should be doing is set that to hidden. So the reason we set that to hidden is so that every time we click on attack, it's only building what we have. Whereas, because I set them all to visible, it's going to make them appear no matter what happens. So now, with that set to hidden, in theory, it should be good. It should be fine. Let's see what happens. And if I click attack, you can see now we've only got Tackle and Growl. So if I click on that, it disappears. Obviously, if I click on any other button at the moment, it's not going to do anything because they're not set up. But we have got some attacks now. So the next step is to basically start to attack Charmander and get Charmander to attack us back. Why is Dave always female? I want a boy, so Dave makes sense. It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Right. Anyway. So yeah. So the next step is now to start battling and dealing some damage to one another. I will need to set up Charmander's attacks off screen. But once that's set up, we should be good to go. So yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Hopefully you found this episode useful, and I will see you next time. Much love. Take care. Bye.